Our film about Brockhampton Primary School. The film was made by Year 3 with help of Len Davis and Betty Harris, who were here 80 years ago, and Pam Guiver, who was here 50 years ago.
I'm Finn and I'm at school, and this is my nan who went to this school 50 years ago.
Hello, I'm Pam. I'm Finley's nan and I came here in the early 1960s.
Brockhampton School was first opened in May the 15th, 1882. But this building was actually started in 1884. The school was enlarged in 1901.
When I came to this school, it was just the school. It didn't have all the classrooms at the back. And where the nursery is where Mr. and Mrs. Hess and I used to live. That was their home.
I'm Jack. And I'm Holly. And we're going to interview you. How are the boys and girls treated differently?
The girls had their own porch, because there was no school meals, and they bought their own food, and so their coats and so forth were on in the porch. There was the boys' porch and the girls' porch. They were separate.
Our front door, which led into the school, I don't think you use anymore. It's the one that's just a pretend door now, off the main hall. Yeah, but that's where we used to come in, through that big door. And it was very scary. And when I first came to school, I was 4.5, and I'd never been to nursery or play school. I came from being with my mum and dad to come into school, and it was all very new. And I didn't realise I'd got to stay all day. And girls didn't sit next to boys in class. Girls sat one side
and boys side.
Yeah. And I was talking once, and I got told off. And Mr. Simmons, I think my head teacher was called, he made me sit by a boy, and it broke my heart. I was absolutely devastated, and I had to do that for a week, and I would not even look at him. I was terrified.
There were a few children came to school on bicycles, and there were 2 or 3 came on a pony. They rode the pony to school, and they used to tie it up to the railings out on the common there while they were in school.
And they had to put water to it and that.
Auntie Jean and Uncle John, who were my brothers and sisters and older than me, they had to walk all the way from Bringsty Garage. You know Bringsty Garage? Nowadays it's got those antique things. Well, because Granny and Grandad lived at the farm down there, they used to have to walk nearly a mile up the lane to start with, which I had to do, and then they'd have to walk all the way from there, all the way to school, every day, and home again. It's a long way, wasn't it? But I was the youngest, and they used to send a taxi. I don't know how I got away with it, but the youngest child in the family got a taxi.
We knew the time. We didn't have to look at the clock for the time. We knew the time by the train. Now the train used to run up there, and it used the train lines are down the bottom, and it used to come up by 10 minutes to 9, wasn't it? Something like that. So we knew that time. We knew at lunchtime because the whistle used to go at the tile works down the bottom, and when it was meal time there was a siren blow like a whistle. Well, we knew then as it was 1 o'clock.
We had old-fashioned desks with still with the ink well, and the little place to put your pens at the top with the slide-in top desk. And you lifted it up and kept all your books, and they stayed in there the whole time. And we were in rows in the classroom. We didn't use inkwells. We had pencils. We wrote with pencil. And we sat looking at the master, teacher, we called them masters, looked at the teacher, and he had a blackboard, not whiteboards like you have, but a blackboard, and he'd use his chalk, and he'd use a chalkboard, and occasionally the chalkboard used to fly across the room if somebody was naughty.
There have been 14 head teachers altogether, but only one was a woman. And all the secretaries have been women, but they're really the people who run the school. Our present head teacher, Mr. Manda, and he loves Birmingham.
But she's only going to be. Hello, I'm headmaster of a school, and Gabby's right. I do like Birmingham, but not as much as I love this school. Being here, people like Gabby, and the staff, and the learning that the children enjoy every day.
Who is your favourite teacher?
My favourite teacher? Well, that's a very hard question, that is. I think I had the most respect for my schoolmaster, Mr. Esnai. He was my last schoolmaster. Mr. Vick was here when I came here first. He was the headmaster, and then Mr. Esnai came in 1939. Well, I suppose I could really say he was my favourite schoolmaster.
And Mrs. Esnay was my favourite school teacher.
You had to pay to come to school for 3p or 4p a week. Did you have to pay for your lunch?
Yes, there were some that had it free, but you had sandwiches all the time. See, after the war, I was still at school for 12 months, I think, and that's when the cooked meals started. And the children used to order their school meals on the Friday for the next week, but they didn't know what it was. It used to come and we didn't know what it was at all till it came.
Our main sandwiches that we bought to school were either bread and jam, which was homemade jam, or bread and lard, because parents used to kill pigs, you see, and render the lard, and then we had the lard, and that was our main.
Yeah.
And I've known some of the pupils come to school, and all they've had is a sandwich with a bit of sugar on, things like that. Everyone was very poor.
School dinners. You and I both open as school dinners. What do you have for your school dinners?
Chicken, potato, rice.
Nice? Is it nice and hot and tastes nice? Yeah? Well, I didn't like school dinners, and I was a bit of a picky eater, a bit like you were. Couldn't believe it now, but I was. And we had things like tinned pilchards in tomato sauce. Well, it was cold. And mashed potato with lumps in, and the gravy wasn't very nice, and vegetables like boiled cabbage and carrots, and we also had mince, sloppy mince. We wouldn't have anything like sausages or chips or new potatoes. It was always mash or boiled potatoes, all very good for you.
In the beginning, the pupils recited their tables.
15, 6 3s are 18, 7 3s are 21, 8 3s are...
Capital letters were taught in this order: I, H, T, L, E, F.
What was your favourite subject?
Let me think. Maths, I think. Yeah, maths I like. Or English. Anyone really. I enjoyed it. What was your favourite?
My favourite was poetry, which I can recite poetry now in my head now. I could say half a dozen poems which I learned here 70 years ago. I enjoyed all my lessons anyway.
I liked art. I wasn't any good at it, but I quite liked drawing, and we used to have drawing competitions. And I remember once we had to draw what we enjoyed in our holidays, and I'd been to see Dr. Dolittle, so I drew, and Dr. Dolittle, back in those days, was in search of a great big pink snail. So I drew a great big pink snail, and I really thought it was wonderful. And if you were a good drawer, the best painting, got a very nice paint box. So I was determined, and I didn't get it. So I was quite sad. So I've obviously remembered that. It's obviously affected me that I didn't get my paint books. But I wasn't very good at art. I just liked painting. I quite liked history. I quite liked hearing about kings and queens. That was always interesting. Didn't like sums and maths. I was not very good at it. I used to be really scared when Mr. S and I used to come round the class. He used to start at the top of the class and used to go right round and ask us all a question out of the beta book, I think it was called. And I used to count down to see when my question was going to come, so I could try and be prepared for it. But I usually got it wrong, and I get shouted at.
It wasn't top of the class.
Every week we used to have a competition. We used to have when I was in top class with Mr. Esner, we used to have a little grey book, and every week he'd set us a question or something to do over the weekend. And I remember he told us to learn Abide With Me, so I learnt that. I learnt the anthem, national anthem. Then he sent us home to find out what the mother of invention was. And that was necessity. You won't know that yet, but I'll teach you that when you're older. And I had to do, and one day he gave us a long word and we had to make as many words out of it as we can. So me and your granddad Percy, we sat down with the dictionary and we found hundreds. We just found loads and loads and loads. So determined to win. And I came to school and I actually won that one because the nearest one to me had about 20 and we had about 200 words. We really had scoured the dictionary. I liked words, like reading, love reading.
The logbook tells us everything happens at school. 1891, two boys tried to set fire to the common.
Yes.
What are you doing? They were caught and they got caned.
Yes. I did get caned because there was a rule that the boys, they hadn't got to go in the girls' porch and the girls hadn't got to go in the boys' porch. Well, we used to have the milk delivered in little third of a pint bottles, you see, which we drank at school. Well, I was drinking my milk and there was one girl came by and she flicked it up and tipped it all down me, you see. So she thought she was safe, so she ran into the porch. So I followed her into the porch at the same time as the schoolmaster was in there. So that was when I had my punishment. One across that hand, one across that hand. With what we call a cane, but it was a stick about that long.
What was the worst thing the boys did? Oh yes, you had the cane as well for rabbiting with the dog.
Oh yes, we used to go off with the school dog catching rabbits like it.
In the dinner time, and they never got back till late.
We were late coming back, so we were punished again. You know, I had the cane.
About 6 or 7 of them.
Also, they used to have the cane and Percy the pump. I never had it, but I do know some boys that did have it. It was a pump. It was actually a black pump, black plimsoll, and they used to have to hold down sort of all the bottom. They just got it for being perhaps a bit rude or forgetting their homework, things like that.
We had free milk. The milk, when I was here first, the milk used to come in a pony and cart. The man used to bring it, and he'd ladle it out with his ladle and put it in these little bottles. And then that was a farmer from Middle Norton, Skirm his name was.
Milk. We used to have milk every day, about 11 o'clock. And the milkman used to come and put it in a crate. And if it was cold, the actual milk would ice up and it would be like that with the top on. Oh, you'd never drink it. I didn't like it. And we had to drink it, we'd be in trouble. Luckily I had a friend who loved it, so she stripped mine as well as her own.
During the First World War, we had a concert to raise money for these soldiers. We often have concerts again.
We still have
went to the wartime, we had evacuees here. How many?
Oh, we had 40, 30, 40, I expect.
Yeah, more than that, perhaps.
And there was no room to for all the children here, so we were on half days. There were so many were on mornings, and then so many were on afternoons. The evacuees, they came from all over. They came from London, Birmingham, and around. But there were lots of evacuees that were here. That they had relations that lived in the area, and also in the wartime. When you were 12 years old, I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 12 years old, you were allowed 15 half days to go and work on a farm. That was only in the wartime, like, you know. So, it was waived, a lot of it was, like Mistress and I, he would let you go for the full day. We used to go for the full day, like, and work picking up potatoes and things like that, and pulling sugar beet and so forth.
Attendance was always a problem. Children stayed away for the harvest and hop picking, and sometimes lots of pupils were ill, especially if the weather was cold.
Where's everybody gone?
Sometimes it wasn't worth keeping the school open.
But when we started, there was myself, and I had a friend called Julie, and two friends called Janet. And we all discovered our second names were Mary. So at the time there was a magazine called The Bunty, which is a girls' magazine, and there was always a tale every week about the four Marys. So we became the four Marys. Ah, now this is a good story. We only had a playground, very similar to yours now, not much different, same railings, not perhaps quite as smooth, and we had two benches like you had. So we would do things like, one of the most exciting things when we got up to about your age, we were allowed to go on the top playground. The top playground's still there, you up the steps? Yep. Well, that used to be the top playground, and we had bars, monkey bars, and they were very tall and they were metal. So, do you know what monkey bars are? Right, and they would be 9 foot, 8, 9 foot high. The top bars, so they'd go really big ones, then the next one, then you'd have two coming off like that. And we used to hang by our feet from the top bars, and the ground was tarmac. There was no soft fall, there was no protection. We did that from I used to hang on it, swing on it. I only ever remember one person falling, a girl called Sandra, and she fell and broke her arm. That's the only time I can remember.
And tell them about the games out on the common.
Yeah, all that was all clear. Nothing up there. We had our football pitch, we had a cricket pitch, we had a long jump, a rounder pitch, and not a tennis court, but where we could play tennis. There was none of that park there, but it was all clear, right the way round.
We used to do sports, and it used to be right down. We used to have to go down the front of the school, over the main road, and there was a field, the next field down, and we'd go down there. I don't know whether it was owned by the school or whether we were just allowed to use it.
We had a flagpole at the end, and then when all the aircraft were going along in the war, like, you know, with all the aircraft would be going along, or there would be all the troop movement, and they would be coming down the main road, and there were a lot of so there could be anything up to 150, 200 soldiers. They were either in lorries and convoys, and a lot of them were on cycles. And we always had to put the flag up. Always had the flagpole, and always put the flag up and have the flag flying, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching our film. Goodbye.